Hi guys, so I took you to the building's gym today. Oh, hi. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Orion. This is my channel. I do checkups. I report about my progress with fitness, physical health, improving my weight, and business. That's 2 checkups, so many things. On Sundays, I talk about my health journey, fitness, eating, weight, etc. And midweek, supposed to be Tuesday, doesn't work out that way every week. I talk about business and work. This is a free-form video. I just come in, talk, show stuff, and my focus on the physical side is on the fact that I am extremely large busted. Right now, my bras are cup L, like that. They love me, L. And the videos are free form. I don't edit. I don't do any effects. That might change in the near future because some stuff that I needs editing, but as much as possible, I just show, tell, upload. And I have just finished the Chloe Ting's the summer 2018 shred challenge, which was an 8-week program. And what I wanted to do today was a hacks and modifications video because it's a very early session. It's a very early program of hers, and she doesn't offer a lot of modifications. And I have used a lot of modifications that she doesn't show. So I wanted to show you what I'm using and also give some tips that worked for me. And I'll probably have the videos running on my phone so I know what I'm talking about, but I'm not showing the entire workouts. I'll probably refer to which workout I'm talking about. I'm off the exercise I'm doing is from. I'll try to remember to do that, and I'll try to go in order. So let's start. The first workout is a full body workout. It has sets and repetitions, and I'm not going to go into that. You start standing up, and most of her stand-up work is pretty good. She gives modifications almost always, either verbally or video and verbally, and it's pretty easy to figure out what to do. I don't jump ever. Try not to jump ever because of bad knees, and it hurts me. So I did modify everything to the low impact if it had impact in it, and other than that, I pretty much didn't modify anything in her standing work. There was one exercise that she does where she doesn't really offer a modification. I think it's not from this workout, not from the full body workout, but from the legs workout. But let's do the standing work first, and then we'll go to the mat work, which is most of the program, and I'll give you all the information there. I just want to see that the video captures me when I'm standing, the way it's set up. So it's such a lovely knee. I can figure it out. Hopefully you can hear me from out here. So a few things about standing work. One is a hack, and that is a balance hack. A lot of single leg work or moving from one leg lead to the next leg lead is very unbalanced. It's very hard if you're not in balance. So if we're doing, let's say, split lunges, so you're changing your lunges like this, it's extremely easy to lose balance. We also have skater lunges going from side to side. Those are pretty balanced, but when you do a more advanced move, which is a one-legged squat to a side bend, coming back to the squat, it's very dynamic to a very balanced move. It's very hard to keep it. The trick to staying balanced, and the other balanced move that needs a lot of balance, is the Romanian deadlift, where you're lifting one leg back and bending your body forward. And of course I chose my weak leg here. So you do it, try not to fall down. The trick is to have a focus point. So if I'm standing and moving from side to side, I will find a point straight ahead of me. Opt for something that is actually a point, whether it's a angle in a bookshelf, or a point, a little sign on the wall, or a point of color in a picture, something that your eye can hold on to. Don't just say, I'm going to look straight ahead, because as you shift, straight ahead shifts with you. If you're bending down for the Romanian deadlift, have a point on the floor, and don't go too far ahead. If you're going to bend forward, the point has to be very close to just below your nose when you're bent, not when you're straight. So hold a point, and I'll bluff a bit, and I'll choose the other leg, which is more balanced for me. And I found a spot here on the floor, and I go down to the spot, and I still have trouble balancing, but I'm actually able to hold myself better. The other exercise, she has several exercises where you squat and jump right up. I don't do that. If you have a squat and tuck, for example, I would squat and tuck one leg and squat and tuck the other leg. But there is one exercise where she squats, jumps, and squats right back. So there is nothing to do. So you can do a leg lift, but what I do is I squat, and then I go straight to a leve, so up on the toes of my feet and back down to squat. I don't do the jump, but I do the jump movement. I don't leave the ground because I don't want to jar my knees when I fall down, when I get back down, but I do want my feet, the entire leg, to have the muscles working as if I'm jumping. So I go, let me move to my feet. It's kind of awkward, but you can see I will squat down, go up on my toes, and squat down again. That was very artistic of me. And I have one more thing to say about standing work. Yeah, arms. Chloe Ting does most of her standing work with the arms clutched in front of her chest. For me, that, I can sit down to say that so you can see me. When I do this, I don't, not the praying mantis, but you know, holding your hands like this, or like this, or like this, it usually means I'm holding my bust. From what I've seen, Chloe is not holding on to dear bust, trying not to make it, trying to eliminate the impact on it. She's not totally flat. She has a very nice bust. But apparently she is small enough for her Gymsharks to hold her in properly. But she has a habit of doing her motion work, her standing work with the hands in front of her. What I suggest to do is to move your hands freely and naturally. So if you're doing a curtsy lunge, it's like a skater. So do the skater movement. It will help your balance, it will help your movement. If you're doing the one-sided squat and then lunge to the side, again, do the skater movements. Use your hands with the motion. If you're jumping, take I forgot the word. Give yourself a help going up. If you jump, even if you're not jumping, use your hand as if you're jumping. The workout where I did most of the standing work modification is the challenge burnout. The burnout challenge at the end. This is a bonus workout. It's added in the last 2 weeks. And basically there was one exercise there where I couldn't just do it because it was simply jumping. So I would march in place with the high knees. For the jumping jacks, I do step touches, and it's pretty easy to do that. Now let's go to the floor work. As far as I recall, in the first video, the whole body workout, the major, okay, in the entire series, there were two major things that I needed to modify. One was burpees, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then I will talk about the second one, which was plank work. All of it. There is plank work in every video. And I had to modify it. At the beginning, I had to modify all of it. And as I progressed, I had to modify less and less, but I modified all the plank work. And I will talk about plank work in general, and I'll talk about specific exercises in plank work. So let's start with burpees. I cannot do a normal burpee still. But how do you progress from I can't do anything to I can do a burpee? Well, we'll start with a walking burpee, I'll call it, a leg by leg. So up again. You start standing up. You can lift your hands. You squat down. I'll do it from the side so you can see what I'm talking about. Squat down, and then don't jump. I'm going to move backwards a little bit. Don't jump. Step one leg out, second leg out. Probably better to be in a good plank, but if you're beginning, pike it. Then walk back and walk back. Then stand up, go down again, do the other leg out, and just shift and rotate between the first leg that goes out and the first leg that goes in. So you can do right leg out, right leg in, or right, left, right. Play around with it, but try to shift all the time so that you stay balanced. The next progression is go down, step out, jump back in. It's easier to jump in than to jump out, at least for me. So you go down, you step out, take a little bend, and jump back in. If this is too hard for you, but you do want to progress, go to the next progression, and it's always an in-between progression here, is the sumo. So instead of doing the burpee with your legs closed parallel, sumo, go to a wide stance, turn your feet out, and squat. You can step in, or you can step, jump in, and you can stay in wide stance, or you can bring it in the back position. The wider the stance, the easier it is. And so wherever you have a sticking point, a point of hardship, use the sumo position. And we start by walking, and then we can do, and if that's too hard, sumo it. So sumo walking, sumo, and then you can do walking and then jumping back in, and jump back into a sumo squat if jumping back in feels too hard. And also, if you want to go to jumping but it feels too hard, sumo back out. And so finally what you will have is the last progression would be going down in a sumo squat, jump back up out into a closed leg position, and jump back in closed leg because it's easier to jump back in, go up, back to sumo, and start over. And from there, you will be in full non-push-up burpee. The next thing is generally all you need to know, all I have to say about plank work. Plank work is very challenging. There are a lot of muscles playing part in it, and it's very hard to begin with. So the first thing I would suggest with plank work is to use your knees. So you have two positions on your hands in plank work. So you can be repositioned the camera. Hopefully I'll have enough battery for this. So basic plank work. So just the hands. So I'm not in my plank, but I'm on my knees. But you can have a full position in your hands, or half plank where you're on your elbows. But you can be on your knees, meaning a half plank. So full, this is high plank. Okay, I got it wrong. High plank, low plank, full plank, half plank. Now, the idea of a plank, and my camera work sucks here. The idea of a plank is for your entire body to be in a line. What you're doing when you're putting down your knees is you're shortening that line, but you have to be in a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So if you start in a full plank like this, and then you drop to your knees and you leave your butt where it is, you're not in a plank anymore. You have to adjust your position. It doesn't look really good, does it? So when you move to your knees, they are your pivot point, and you have to move in a full unit during those exercises. And that will help in most plank work. There are a few exercises where additional tips are needed. One is the up, up, down, down. So anytime she does anything that's considered upper body, so full work, upper body work, you will have an exercise that looks like this. Go on one elbow, the other elbow, back to full, back to full. Now I'm on my knees right now just so I can have a lot of control to demonstrate this. And it can be quite hard. I still can't really do it in full plank, which is why I do it on my knees most of the time. But here's a trick for progression, and this I learned from my son. When you're trying to progress to the next level in this exercise, instead of, and I'll need to readjust my screen here, the correct motion will be lift your hand, put your elbow down, lift your hand, put your palm down. Instead of that, start from the lower position, and position your shoulders perfectly above your elbows, and then don't lift your palms. Push up, lay down, lay down. It's easier. Now, when I'm on my knees, since I can do the full motion, this is a walk in the park. And practice it a bit because it takes some getting used to. It feels awkward. But again, so repositioning to challenge myself. Up, up, down, down. Other side. Up, up, down, down. Now let me try it in full plank. You can't see my legs though. So I'm in plank now. Do you see the change? And up, up, and down, down. Other side. Up, up, down, down. I can't do the full version yet. Another challenging one, and so I got two additional challenging ones I wanted to show you options on. One is the bird dog, which is the position where you where you are facing the floor on some touch points, and you lift one arm and the opposite leg. So the classical bird dog will be starting on your hands and knees, lift one arm, and you can't see it, but I'm lifting the opposite leg. Chloe has you do this on the full body workout from a plank position. So let me move out a bit so you can see a little bit more of me. I start in full plank. I lift my right arm and my left leg. It's supposed to look like I'm flying. It looks like I'm crashing. And so I just discovered this week after I did the last session with this exercise. You can do it in half plank, not half plank,
you can do it in low plank. So instead of going on your in full plank with the arms straight, go on your elbows and toes and lift left leg and right arm. Still hard to balance, but I can do it. What I've been doing is from half plank, so my knees are on the floor. The temptation here is to bring your knees back into tabletop. If you can resist that temptation, you can start progressing backwards, increasing the challenge until you're ready for the plank work. The last exercise I wanted to talk about from the planking positions are the upside down push-ups. So downward dog push-ups, where you're supposed to stand in downward dog and press down and push up. I can do a few of those, but I get tired in the middle. And so this is where you move back to your knees. Now, in this position, you are intentionally pushing your bum out of plank position because you want to seesaw your body as if you're in downward dog. Whereas when I'm doing a real push-up on my knees, I would form a straight line and try to stay stiff and not seesaw on my knees, but pivot on them. So they become a pivot point, a breaking point. Whereas in this position, I'm trying to seesaw my entire body to move the effort to the upper back. It's a really good move. So we did the full body, and I already took you through most of the work on the upper body. All of her workouts, except for the bonus workout, have some reverse plank work. Reverse plank would be, so tabletop reverse plank, when you are pushing your body off the floor, when your bottom is to the floor instead of your top, like in plank. That has greatly agitated my elbow and my entire right arm. And the trick to handle that, I experimented around it a bit until I figured it out, is first of all, don't try to force yourself through the exercises like I did. Instead, play around with the positioning of your arms. She uses the arms facing in at all times. Give them 45 degrees. Give them 90 degrees out. Try them facing backwards if the exercise allows it. Play around with it. Don't let your elbow become agitated like mine. Next, we have the ab workout. Lots of plank work there. Yeah, mountain climbers. Amazing exercise, really tough. I do it very slow to this point in my exercise. I still do it very, very slowly, but if I run out of steam in the middle of the set, what I do usually is knee down, knee up, so it will look like something like this. And instead of doing the mountain climber, I will go 1, 2, back to plank, other leg, mountain climber, go down, go back to plank. A lot of that puts in a lot of rest, but you still get something done. We have ski abs, which is plank. She does plank work, and you jump from side to side as if you're skiing. And when that is too hard or I ran out of steam, I call it Nordic abs. I just walk from side to side, and it does most of the work. There are 2 other plank positions in that workout, in the abs workout. One is when you cross your leg to the other side of the body, you can just push your knee out in half plank, and the other is low plank with the leg coming out of the outside, and that works amazingly well in half plank. It is a killer just as much. When you're doing your regular ab work, lying on your back, most of the work Chloe does is with straight legs, where we use the power of the lever to create more tension on the ab muscles. It's easier to lift a bent leg than it is to lift a straight leg, simply because your lever is shorter when the leg is bent. So what I would usually do, talking so fast I ran out of air, is go out only to the point where I feel my muscles working really hard, and then go back in. So instead of straightening the legs back straight all the way or lowering them all the way, I only go to the point where I'm working, because after that it's just too hard. And that makes it easier for me to finish the entire set and get my workout, instead of resting because I did too much in a very little, in one set, in one exercise, or in the beginning of one exercise. So that basically covers, and we do have side plank in the ab workout. And the progression for side plank would be to start on your knees. So bend your legs and do a plank from your knees. Then just one leg is bent and still do a plank from your knee. And then do half a bend. And that will help allow you to lift your lower knee off the floor, but it will shorten your lever. And so you can slowly progress. Another lovely progression is, when with all the liftings, is go back to the floor and don't hover. Just put yourself on the floor, rest for a nanosecond, and get back up. The leg workouts were very easy for me. I hit the muscles well. I had one problem that I couldn't work out a modification for, and that was the bridge. And the problem was that I get cramps. So I just put my butt down, stretch out the leg, shake it out, do it again. And over time it's getting better. If you get cramps, just release the cramp, go back, try to reduce your range of motion on that specific problem area, and it will work out. But there is one exercise in the legs workout that I wanted to point out. We do inner thigh circles. There are two things I wanted to point out about this. One is that the circles can go up and out, or out and up. And what I do is I do both, because you repeat the sequence twice. I do the first one up, and I remember that, and the next one I will do out and up. The other thing is that the closer you keep your leg to your body, the easier the exercise is. So as you progress and want to get it harder, you need to take your leg out and make the circles bigger and bigger. You will have a more challenging move. And you know what? I think I covered everything I had to say about that. And that was all the modifications ideas I had, and the hacks, like how to stay balanced, how to make some of these things harder if you need to. And I really hope you'll find this helpful. I'll do workout before and after, and final wrap up tomorrow, and Sunday will be a new workout plan, not with Chloe this time. Have a great weekend, or not if you're watching this and it's not the weekend, and like, subscribe, comment, whatever you need to. I'll talk to you in the future. Bye.